Good afternoon and welcome to Temple University and welcome to the College of Science and Technology. It is my great honor once again to introduce all of you to our Frances Velay Scholars. We have 16 students this year from all areas of science. We have a student who's repeated a year with us, funded directly by Dean Klein. We chose her because of her leadership ability. You'll hear from her later. Her name is Carrie Kern. We are committed to supporting our women through graduate study. Many of them have already presented at 2 research symposiums, and we will go forward. Our CST Scientista group is a women's science networking group that all of our Frances Velay students contribute to. So with that, thank you again for all you do to support our students and meet our ladies.
Hi, I'm Carly Annell. I study biochemistry at Temple University. This summer, I decided to join the Frances Velay Fellowship Program to gain research experience and to strengthen connections. I was a part of the Valentine Lab, which specializes in bio and organic chemistry, and so I specifically learned techniques in protein expression and purification. I specifically learned how to use a sonicator, which was my first time ever using that. I really perfected my pipetting skills, which is going to help me a lot in the future. And I also got to use an FPLC, which stands for Fast Protein Liquid Chromatography, which was really cool, and I think I will also use that in the future. What I'm really proud of is I finally know how to run a whole SDS gel electrophoresis all by myself. I think this experience has, most importantly, taught me good time management. That's something I've always struggled with, but in a lab, you have a schedule, especially because I was in a collaboration and I was the first part of the plan. We had to be on a time limit and get things to the next collaborator on time. And so I had to show up to work on time. That way we could start long processes in a day. And I had to make sure that I was staying on top of everything each day. And my mentor really helped me with that, as he has also struggled in the past. And so I feel like I can definitely carry this skill into my academic life, because procrastination is never helpful, and it's definitely something that I always feel like I can just procrastinate things and I'll do it last minute, but that's not the way to success. I also think that the techniques I learned are going to be really helpful in my labs of my future classes. Like next semester, I'm going to take techniques of chemical measurement, and that's quite literally what I've learned. And so I'm very excited for next semester because I think I'm going to come back with much more improvement from last. I think the most impactful part of this program was the presentation that we had to give at the end. I think it really helped put all of the research and hard work that I've done this summer into a cohesive project. And although I was really, really nervous, I'm happy that I've now presented in front of a room of about 30 people on complicated scientific topics, because now in the future, I think that I would be less nervous in presenting in front of people.
My name is Samita Balaji. I'm a neuroscience major and a rising junior. So within the lab, my mentorship kind of worked within 2 layers. I worked very closely with a grad student, and he taught me all the ropes of the lab, what I needed to do every day, and he was the one who followed up every single day and made sure I was doing what I needed to complete. And then every week we would present at group meetings. So I had to present and he had to present to our PI, and that's how our PI made sure that we were all on track and that I was listening to him and he was listening to the PI. And then in terms of the program, I kind of did separate them because we were learning a lot more about grad school in terms of mentorship here. So I just basically decided to take notes and absorb as much information as I can so that I'm prepared to have questions and ask for advice in the future.
My name is Leah Graham. This summer I studied the efficiency of engineered prime editing guide RNAs versus prime editing guide RNAs in zebrafish. So in terms of my current research, I plan to continue to do it this fall. There's a lot of, this research experience informed me that I don't actually want to be working with model organisms in the future, of being able to explore different areas of research. He encouraged us to read other papers outside of what we're working with in lab and talk about them in lab meeting. It let me explore the field of astrobiology and how I can work with prokaryotic organisms or extremophiles and still do molecular biology research, which I thought was really important. But this lab has also helped me build practical skills such as lab notebook keeping and keeping my samples organized, and also just the hands-on protocol stuff that you need to know in terms of a wet lab every day.
Hi, my name is Ifeoluwa Ogundele. I'm a senior biology major with a minor in healthcare management, and for the summer I was at Temple University Ambler campus, where I did a big project where we censused the forest because there was a tornado that hit Temple Forest Observatory. So we looked to the forest and saw what was alive and categorized it and basically recorded what was still alive and put it into the system. And for my individual research, I monitored the shifts in animal activity in response to the tornado. So basically seeing if there was any change in their activity and their patterns of behavior because of the impact of the tornado. So one of the more impactful moments that I had during this was after one of the weekly meetings. We had a poster presentation that we had for the end where we presented our research to people that wanted to attend. And during the practice, after I presented, I was so sad and I began to cry to my mentor and told her that I just don't feel confident in this, and I feel like if I embarrass myself or mess up, it's a representation to the field station. I didn't want to let them down. And she hugged me multiple times, and she basically told me that everything's okay, and with practice and confidence that she's seen me grow throughout this experience and that I can do it. So that was very impactful to me, to have that support of someone who's obviously more wiser and older, as she's a professor, and for her to get down to my level and basically try to relate to me and tell me it's anything is possible. That really was impactful for me, and the advice that she gave me that day is something that I know I'll carry on with me for the rest of my life.
Hello, my name is Hiroko Hida. I'm a rising junior majoring in neuroscience and minoring in psychology and public health. Over the summer, I worked at a neuroscience lab that studies a protein RUM2, which has been associated with the molecular mechanisms that regulate intrinsic excitability of neurons. And my job specifically was to continue with the research that has been done on the role of RUM2 in the structural plasticity of the axon initial segment.
Hi, my name is Rupali Sharma, and I'm a rising senior at Temple University, and I'm majoring in biology. And I decided to apply to this internship program because I wanted to get experience in research as an undergrad, and I am pretty sure that it will help me in professional schools to develop a area in research. Since I was born in mountains, I feel very connected to nature, like plants and animals. I really love going out. So what drawn me into research project is Dr. Bem's research in ecology lab. I was very fond of her work, and that's how I decided to work on the project that she was doing in her lab.
My name is Ellie Labriola. I'm a rising junior. I'm majoring in neuroscience, biology, and minoring in psychology. And this summer I worked in a cellular neuroscience lab in the BioLife building with Dr. Anna Moore. So I will be continuing doing research following this summer. I will be dedicating hopefully 3 to 4 hours to the Moore lab, which is the lab that I worked in this summer. But I am planning to move up to the medical school campus, hopefully for the next 2 years. I'll be working in Dr. Ward's lab. It is another behavioral neuroscience lab in the Center for Substance Abuse Research, and I could not be more excited to continue doing research at Temple. Looking back at the summer, I can pinpoint 2 very impactful experiences. The first was just a few weeks ago when I was updating my resume and pretty much trying to outline all the skills and experiences that I had this summer in the lab. And when I put it all together, the list of things that I learned to do was 3 pages long, very detailed, and they were skills that I never thought I would be able to learn in undergrad. And it was a feeling of like pride, confidence, excitement, and just really looking forward to continuing building my research skills. So yeah, that was a really, really cool experience. And then the second was about 2:30 yesterday, 2:30 p.m. I was exhausted, I'll tell you that. It had been about 5 or 6 hours listening to my fellow researchers presenting, and we had about 2 hours to go. And yet, everyone in that room looked so happy to be there. Every time a girl finished her presentation, there were extensive questions asking about the tiniest details, and it just showed that everyone was so engaged and happy to see other women succeeding in STEM, and just an incredible display of the intelligence that was in that room. It was surreal. So to be able to be a part of that and to not only associate with those women, but to be a part of it was a really, really cool experience and very impactful.
My name is Carrie Kern. I'm a senior biology with teaching major. So this is my second year as a Frances Velay Fellow, and last year my project was just on measuring the carbon storage of our forests. However, because our forest was hit by a tornado, that kind of changed the direction of the research we were looking at. And this being my second year, it was a little bit different in the fact that I was kind of there to help with the new interns and kind of guide them through the research process as well. And if there were times where my mentors needed to work with certain people, like I could take another group of people and kind of work with them throughout the forest. And I was one of the people collecting data and working with like our tablet, which is something that most of the time it was just like the mentors working on. So that was definitely very interesting for me to learn this year. So prior to this program, I had never been involved in any sort of research opportunity. And it was actually through this program that I was able to meet my amazing mentor, Dr. Freestone. And even before this, I had no idea that I really enjoyed ecology work or field work. So that was just something very beneficial from this program, and I've continued with it, and I plan on continuing with it in the future. But something else that I really enjoyed was just being able to meet so many people through this program. I was able to meet other women in STEM a part of this program and get to learn so much about their research, and as long as also meeting so many other people in my lab who came in this summer and created just such good friendships that I know are going to last after the program ends.
Hi, my name is Esther Apen. I am a rising junior here at Temple, majoring in neuroscience with a minor in psychology. So in terms of continuing research, this was my very first research experience under the Velay Fellowship Program, and it was very enjoyable. And moving forward, I would still like to venture into genetics and in the current lab I'm working with, but I would also like to delve more into my field of interest, neuroscience, and see what I can learn from there and what research is available, particularly in the realm of learning and memory. And also in the way of upcoming conferences, my current PI, Dr. Bartunas, will be having a conference, I believe, in the first week of September, so I'll be going to that and just helping out and viewing and listening to new research that is available concerning zebrafish and gene editing. So I'm looking forward to that.
I'm Nala Hamilton. The research I did over the summer directly influences and is related to what I want to do in the future. I plan to pursue a graduate degree in bioinformatics or something related to that. And the work I did is exactly that. It is genetics, it's large population studies using computational methods. And so it really is preparing me for my future and the actual research process. So a PhD is doing research, right? So I'm really glad to have had this experience. So this summer, the most influential thing that I did was learn how to code. That wasn't just one day that I learned everything, but it was throughout the whole summer, and it was incredibly important for me, not just in my future, but just knowing how to do something is like really satisfying. If I were to pick a specific event that had the most impactful moment was the presentation session a few days ago. I got to see everyone present their work, and it was so inspirational to see everyone so motivated in what they were doing, but it also was eye-opening to what I am going to be doing in the future. This was the first time I ever did something like that, where I got up and presented my research to a group of people who weren't already knowledgeable about the subject. And so that was really amazing, and it was awesome.
Hi, my name is Kathleen Summers. I'm a rising senior at Temple. My major is physics and I'm getting a certificate in Foundations of Computer Programming. So before starting my research, I was definitely intimidated by the stuff that the people at my lab were studying, but it was really helpful for me to understand that I could actually learn the things that I was learning by myself a lot of the time too. And that gave me a lot of confidence. And it was also really nice to meet other women in STEM, especially in my major. There aren't a lot of women, so it was really nice meeting them and learning from them too. I learned a lot from them, definitely. And it was really nice for me to meet other women, especially in physics, because I haven't really met a lot of other women doing the same research that I'm doing. And it was helpful during my weekly meetings too, through the Velay program. I got to hear a lot about the research that they're doing, and it was really interesting and also just like motivating to see other women doing the same things I'm doing.
My name's Sarah Lamprech. I'm a rising junior. I am a physics major with a minor in mathematics. And this summer I did research in computational nuclear physics. I've been asked what the most impactful part of this program has been for me, and it's definitely tough to quantify one single event because I think the accumulations of events over this last 10 weeks have all added on to each other. I mentioned a bit before about being a part of a cohort has been incredible, having a sense of like having a support system, people that I can relate to. That's been tremendous for developing my confidence. At the end of the program, when we did our presentations, this is my first time giving any type of talk, and it was scary. It's scary to get up there and talk about something that you're passionate about and that you put a lot of work into, and put that in front of new eyes and just hope that people get the idea of your passion. And that was definitely something that was really scary. And I think after having that experience and seeing it go so well, it's definitely helped me build a lot of confidence in myself. And one more thing that I would like to add is, as a first generation student, I can't, relate to my family in a sense when it comes to talking about especially scientific ideas. I mean, academic ideas in general, it's not something, is well experienced in my family. So going into the sciences also, especially as a woman, especially in physics, it could feel very isolating. So just being a part of this program, being surrounded by other women who are going through a type of similar experience, having a female mentor in physics in the type of research that I'm interested in, it's all just been so amazing and helping me see myself here and feeling like a sense of belonging. And I think that's really key into becoming a successful leader, is like understanding that you do belong here.
My name is Jenny Eggo. I'm a senior geology major, and this summer I worked on a paleotopographic and paleoclimatic study of Eocene paleosols in the Piedra Xamana fossil forest of Peru. This involved working with samples collected by my PI in 2018, and we made thin sections, which is cutting the rock into pieces and gluing it to a slide. We worked with X-ray diffraction and ICP OES to analyze the geochemistry. And using this, we could discover the climate 39 million years ago. And we compared that to a previous study about the paleobotanical evidence that was found in the same area. I worked one-on-one with my mentor, Dr. Dennis Terry. As I had already learned a lot in the class that I'd taken with him the previous semester, we just kind of reviewed the methods that we'd be using, and it was a really great process. He's an amazing professor, an amazing teacher, and I learned so much from this process.
My name is Gayatri Patel, and I'm a rising junior at Temple University, and my major is biology, and my minor is cognitive neuroscience. This year, I spent my summer working at the Lewis Gadd School of Medicine, and I worked on fibroblasts. And what I did is I used BMI, which is a protein, and I saw the role of it and how it would help control the fibrosis that occurs in the heart. So before starting my cardiovascular research, I wanted to do more for sure, but During my symposium, I saw many of the other women in my same program doing different research that includes neuroscience and ecology. So I definitely want to explore more on other topics of my research. But yes, I definitely do plan on doing more research, especially my undergrad years. Yeah.
My name is Anna Schmidt. I'm a junior at Temple. I'm a biology major and I'm minoring in nutrition. This summer I did research on mitochondrial calcium exchange and the role that it has in human disease at the Cardiovascular Research Center. This summer I worked with a postdoc in the LRAD lab. Her name is Dr. Joanne Garbinchis. She was really excited to have me and I was really excited to work with her, and we worked really well together. I learned so much from her, and it just made me really excited about the whole research project in general. And you know, if I didn't have a great mentor, I wouldn't have been excited to do research and I wouldn't have been as successful as I was. So I'm excited to continue working with her in the future.